All right. Welcome back. Welcome me back humbly. This is Philosophy Panther. Welcome back. And I am humble enough to be back on the Panther Spot podcast. We've gone through quite a bit of changes, a few changes, some, personal lifestyle changes and podcast changes. I'm just going to go back to the basics. I'm just going to talk to you. We're going to have a conversation. And we'll move on from there. We'll just see, where this goes. I want to get a few things off my chest first and foremost, so that we can get an understanding as to why I've been back and forth. It's I've been creating, but I've never been actually uploading these videos I've been making, and these podcasts, even though they were short, some of them not so short. As some of y'all know, back in December 16th, my wife had a stroke on the plane the day after burying her brother, 6, 7, 8, 9 months after burying her mom. She didn't get the best care that she was supposed to have. Actually, she was cheated out of rehab. That could have drastically changed her life. And so now we're building from scratch. Back in February and March, I could talk to my wife on the phone and she could respond properly. But because she didn't get the speech therapy, the physical therapy, and the occupational therapy days that she was supposed to have, when we were forced out of the hospital and flown down from North Carolina down back to Orlando, she ended up having to kind of reset herself. So now we're starting from scratch, and I'm okay with that. Who am I kidding? I'm not really okay with that. But I don't think I have much of a choice right at the moment. Okay. So I figured let's catch up on a few things. Let's talk about a few things that I think have some importance. I'm not going to ramble a million things off to you at high speeds that I used to. We're going to have a decent conversation, nice and slow. And we'll move on and talk about some things. I've gotten to a point where I think we can talk again. So we're going to keep it basic. No videos, YouTube, Patreon. To my fans out there who have been listening for the longest, thank you. I know some of y'all just don't have it to donate to the podcast. And thank you for those who've been there from the beginning, donating every month to the podcast on Patreon. I'm thankful, and all of that information will be in the description below. I want to rehash a few things that I think we talked about prior, and then we'll talk about some other things. I want to figure this whole thing out. What do I want to talk about? It's been pretty tough because I am a blurred. I'm a black nerd. I care about a lot of things. I care about video games, anime. I also care about my people and in the direction that we're going. Today is September 3rd. It's 11 o'clock. And we're about, I want to say about 23 to 26 days away from the All Black National Convention. every year since its inception, I've been saying that I wanted to go. And that I wanted to participate and gather and gain as much information as I possibly can. Because the people that are showing up each year, the panels have been getting better and better. Last year, I want to call him my older brother, although he might be younger than me. A man that really doesn't need any description or introduction, I should say. Andre C. Hatchett is a entrepreneur like no other. And I want to imitate, create, and make better what he does. He finds a need. He creates a solution to the problem and then teaches other black people how to do the same thing through his business schools. I'll link him and all his businesses in the description down below so that if you're interested in any of his businesses, from mobile notary to home ownership, he has all the tools necessary to teach you that. Right now, I come to an impasse where it's time. It's been time, but I have 20-year-old daughters. My wife met me and told me, hey, I got twin girls. They're 12, and I met them 8 years ago, and they've been phenomenal. Well, they'll be 20 at the end of this month, so I get to share my birthday month with them. When you're younger, your birthday is as long as you want it. But when you got kids, your birthday stops midnight the next night. So September 11th, we'll be sitting here thinking about how the towers fell because of one George Bush and a bullshit story about Osama bin Laden. As I've taught my daughters year after year to keep into their minds that our government did indeed pull a fast one. And most of the people that believe that we were attacked by I want to say it was diabetic, quote unquote, Muslim believing individual in the Mideast North Africa, living in a cave. I told my daughters, it's always about money. No matter what happens in this world, it goes back to the money. Anything big, anything in the news, anything that seems suspicious, why black bodies are disappearing, why black girls are disappearing, why black boys are dying and then being stuffed with newspapers. Let me see here. I try to remember these individuals' names and stuff, but boy's body stuffed with newspaper. See, Google already know where I'm going. Kendrick Johnson, I think it was back in 2013, got into an altercation with some white boy. Now that we know, they find his body rolled up in a wrestling mat. Everybody wants to say that he fell in there and just died. But then when they exhumed the body and had a second set of eyes take a look at it, they found out his organs had been taken out. So now you can't tell what the hell happened, what was the cause of death and stuff like that. Money produced that. The kid who did it, now that we know there's a white boy who's coming forward and they're trying to protect that white boy. Make sure he doesn't die. He signed an affidavit saying that, he had a conversation with the boy who did it. And the boy's dad is CIA, FBI. one of them alphabet boys who met up with another alphabet boy and created this whole mess. Oh, that sucked. Because we never know what that boy is going to be. Could have been. But when you got the money and the complexion for the protection, then anything goes. I teach my daughters this because they have to know they can't do everything their white counterparts do that is, trouble related and think that they're going to get away with it. No. Excuse me. Science dictates that there's cause and effect. Things don't just happen. Okay. My birthday is September 10th. And like I do every year, like I said, September 11th to discuss with my girls what happened on 9/11. A lot of money moved around. Before the towers were hit by those so-called planes that were supposedly, and you should see my fingers, quotations, hijacked by people of the Muslim faith. And this is what bothers me. People get those things confused. You can't walk up to somebody and say, hey, you're a Muslim. No, I know black people that are Muslims. Muslim is a faith. It's a belief system. It's a religion. Not a person. Not a type of person. But Fox News has drilled it into people's heads a couple of things that don't matter. And when you got money, you can control the media. When you got the media, you can control public image. When you got money, you can hide Kendrick Johnson's body in a mat and get away with it, almost. I try to steer away from conversations that have to do with people talking about, well, black people we're our own worst enemy. I tell those individuals, if you don't have a fucking solution to the problem, then shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear that shit. We know that there are people amongst us that purposely do shit to bring our shit down. That's in every culture, every race. The difference is our shit is out on Front Street because we don't have our own media. Our own news channels, our own newspapers, our own ways of dictating the truth to the people, to the populace. So whatever Fox News or MSNBC says, people believe. And people are afraid of black people. And people hate black people. And you can say people without, and I don't have to, but I will this time, this podcast. Listen, I don't mean all you white people, obviously. And I'm going to stop saying that shit. Because my opinions, my facts, my thoughts, all deal with being on the fence, meaning being in the middle. I'm not left and I'm not right. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm right in the middle because I want to hear your point of view before I decide on whether I believe you or not, whether I support your thoughts. So yes, does racism exist? Yes. Will it ever go away? Probably not. Not until we flip the whole board over and play a different game. So listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. This is an undeniable fact. Okay? Racism has nothing to do with how I feel about you. And people say that all the time. Oh man, you pulled me over messing with me, man, because you a racist. You a racist. No. They're prejudiced. There's a difference. I'm tired of having to explain that to you people. Quit being stupid. Okay. Prejudice. Okay. Is how I feel about you. Prejudice is what makes me do certain things, makes me a bigot. Racism is how I'm able to do it and get away with it. Racism is a system, a cultivated and purposely built system from the 1700s up till today. More recently, 1917, but from early times. Racism based on who has the fucking money. I told you everything has to do with money. Everything. And when you have the money, you have the power. How do I know this? How do I prove that money is everything? And racism only exists when a certain group of people have all the money and all the resources and all the power. There was a powerful man by the name of Muammar Gaddafi who he basically ran Libya. He was the head general. He was whatever you call a dictator. You call him a dictator. Americans who listen to Fox News called him a dictator. Fox News called him a dictator. He wasn't a dictator. Ask the people who lived there how great their country was. Libyans, if they gave birth, they had a child, their first child, they got a lump sum of money from the government to help them take care of that child and move into a new house. Petrol was 10 cents a liter. We're not talking about back in the 90s. We're talking about recently, before they killed him. Okay, let me see how long ago. Gaddafi. When did they kill this guy? Muammar al-Gaddafi. He died October 20th, 2011. That's funny. Isn't that funny? Right after all of this shit happened, right after 9/11, he goes too. He actually was the 7th longest ruling non-royal national leader. That's important because he helped build and cultivate everything in that country. People who live here in America were getting stipends to go to school here. Education was free over there, but if you want to go travel abroad, here's the money. Why? Because he had 144 tons of gold. That's $9.3 billion for you guys who trying to figure out how much that's worth. He had that in just gold. America doesn't have any gold. We don't. They like to tell us that we have gold in Fort Knox. We don't. We probably don't. It's most likely we don't. Europe had gold. Europe had more than that. Europe had more gold than Gaddafi did, but they also had 10 times the amount of people. That means if he were to do something ingenious like, I don't know, drop the dollar and force people to purchase things in Africa according to how much gold they had, the whole world would go broke. Nah, nobody would do anything like that. Not this great colonel. Not this revolutionary politician, not this political theorist, Not this guy who wanted to unite Africa as one series of states, the United States of Africa. Not the same guy who wanted to create not one but two national banks of Africa. Not the guy that wanted to drop the dollar for the gold dinar. No. I might not be right about the 2011 thing either. I feel like it was a much later than that, but who knows? I'll research that later for you. This one man said, hey, I am so sick and tired of my continent being raped by Europeans, Japanese, Chinese, everybody. Mostly Europeans. We're talking about Australia. We're talking about Russia. We're talking about the UK. We're talking about America, United States. We're talking about everybody, everywhere where European people of European descent rule. He was sick of it. What's the best way to cause complete and control and change for African people? That's to use the money that you have in the soil. Use the gold, the cobalt, the diamonds, the everything that has worth, and make people pay you for your resources with it. And he was going to do it. He was very, very close. And then your favorite president, Barack Hussein Obama, was told by the powers that be to assassinate him. They're like, hey, listen, you already fooled all the black people. And yes, Barack is a charismatic, well-spoken brother. I mean, he's earned his degrees. He did everything. He had to do all this shit to become president. 2 degrees and shit. Or whatever. It doesn't matter. He had to do way more than his predecessor, Bush. That nigga was a C student. Hell, we don't even know if the Orange in Chief right now even went to school. I don't know. I don't care too much about him. He was just wealthy. Had enough money to run his own campaign. But imagine that. Japan and China, they knew what was going on. That's why they kept hoarding gold. They were preparing for something dynamic. But they weren't going to be the ones to kill. They were going to leave that to the Europeans. I want y'all to think about that. Fox News and Barack Obama lied and said that he was terrorizing his own people, killing his own people. He wasn't doing any of that. What he was doing was killing the insurgents, people that were placed. You know, we place people all over the place, all over the world to cause problems. I forgot exactly the exact word, but I think that we call them economic hitmen. Economic hitmen, what they do is, if there's a place that Europeans want to control, United States, anybody controlled by the World Bank, I should say, they want to control a place, they do 3 things. They start out first by saying, hey, yo, leader, we're going to promise you all of this money. Here's all the money you can live somewhere else in the world, and you just do everything we tell you to do. We control everything, but we give you all the money. In exchange, you let us loan you money from the World Bank. Keep the dollar, but here's some money for you, and then here's a loan for your people. And then what happens is, these countries, a lot of these countries are really poor. Okay? They're very poor. And so they take the money because they're thinking, one, if they're good, good at heart normally, they mean that means they can help their people get out of debt, help their country flourish. And if they're evil, they keep all the money to themselves, no big deal. And then still take the loan, keep the money, and force the people to pay the loan back, knowing that the interest rate on the loan is astronomical and almost impossible to pay back. So then that country defaults on the loan. Well, when you default on a loan from the World Bank, what happens is they come in for your resources. Muammar said, fuck you and your dollar. You know who else said that? Castro. You know who else said that? Saddam Hussein. And each one of these leaders have been categorized as dictators. Has been categorized as lethal to their own country. This is what we are painting in our news here. Meanwhile, other places in the world, those same leaders are getting like Nobel Peace Prizes and shit. I don't know. Probably not, but still. Obama got a Peace Prize, even though he air bombed more people than any other president to date. More times. We used, machines and stuff to bomb, religious places and people, innocent people. Black people, your president did that. There's no mistaking in that. Those were other brown and black people that Obama killed for no reason other than his master said, if they drop the dollar and run the gold dinar, the whole world will be bankrupt, and Africa will be the most powerful place on the planet. And he almost got away with it too. As y'all can tell, paper, it's just paper. The dollar is just paper. They're notes. They're not backed by anything. Yet we kill each other for this. Meanwhile, he's sitting on $9 billion. Excuse me, $9 billion. And he was going to open up, he's reaching out an olive branch to all black people around the world to say, hey, look, you can get in on this. You can give us your dollars. We won't give you a whole lot of gold for it, but at least it'll be worth something. Why? Because if the dollar's dropped and you have a little bit of gold and you're a black person, you're instantly richer than the richest white people in the world. If your dollar doesn't matter and everything you need that these countries need that keep these white people in power, like Bill Gates, for example, all the stuff that he needs for his computer doesn't come from America. None of that shit, because it comes from Africa. The cobalt for the stuff for your cell phones. The Kardashians, I'll be damned, I'm saying it would be nothing. They'd have $0, any worth. Their actual on-hand cash would mean shit. And there would be more poverty. But he was prepared to help all black people by saying, hey, turn your money to us. We'll keep that whack-ass dollar. We'll probably rip it up and burn it. But a little bit at a time, here you go. Here's some gold. Now, everything you need is in gold. You know, the first thing I would have did was book the flight and my whole family and move over to Africa. Quick. If he would have pulled this off so fast, I would have been there so fast. It would have been no joke. And you start trading with things that actually have value, have worth. We used to have notes that were backed by gold. Until there was a law pressed throughout the United States that you had to give up your gold. The government literally said, fuck you, pay me. Give me your gold. We ain't give you shit for it, but give me your gold. And everybody was poor. You had gold in the bank? Gone. You had gold on your person? Gone. They coming for that ass. This happened what? 30s, 20s? Dates don't matter when you're telling a story about why the money matters. You can do the research yourself. I'm not here to give you exact facts all the time. I'm just painting a picture for you. And so he told Hillary, y'all, black women's favorite person, to get NATO and to bomb and kill and assassinate his ass. And here we are, 2018, 7 years later, and they now have slavery in Libya. Something that Muammar prevented. Those same people that you caught saying that he was on camera, saying that he was, that they were saying on Fox News that he was supposedly killing. These were people who were trying to cause problems in his nation. And I guarantee you most of those people were linked to America, just like ISIS is. If y'all don't believe that, y'all can believe whatever bullshit story saying that ISIS is powerful enough to steal trucks and guns. I have under the authority to say that ISIS is basically Israel, and Israel's being worked through America. Let's be real, okay? I don't know. Let's spell it out. Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. Sounds like it fits. Sounds like it fits. Now I don't have proof, obviously, of that, but I do have pictures of people who are supposed to be ISIS with American flag tattoos on their arms in certain places that are supposed to be covered up. I see the guns that have American decals and different things on them. I see the trucks that everybody is verified that came from the United States. So they killed him. And people wanted me to vote for Hillary Clinton. You gotta be out your fucking mind. People wanted black people to vote for Hillary because they were afraid of Donald Trump. But if black women would have did the right thing, instead of sticking with women as a whole, this whole women's movement, and then watch all those white women that backed those black women up, all the way up until the election, 54% of those white women switched sides and went over and voted. 54% of women voted for Donald Trump. That's why I don't believe in the women's movement. This whole feminist movement bullshit. They use black and brown women as cannon fodder. They just want the numbers. They don't give a fuck about black women. There's been plenty of evidence in the news. When you see a sister, knocked out, shot, killed, punched, or have a knee in her back, pertaining to the little girl at the pool party, you don't see any women step up to talk about this shit. But they quick with this whole Me Too shit. And let's be clear. Rape is wrong. Disrespecting women. Treat women with respect. Equal pay and all that other bullshit. That's great stuff. But the feminist movement used black women. And they don't want to admit it because they don't want to feel stupid. It hurts because I lost what I would consider a valuable ally at the time. This woman who went through all kinds of hell by herself. I grew up, I met her in high school, and she was a wonderful woman. But the minute she found out that I was like, fuck Hillary, because Hillary hates black people, she stopped talking to me. All social media gone. It's a depressing thought. So how do we fix this mess? We had one leader who was proud and strong enough, he was almost untouchable, to try to do the one thing that black people need, and that was a leg up in the world. I mean, that was a complete game changer. It would have flipped the entire game, this monopoly, this racism that they're playing on our backs, and we would have been able to stand up and play the game differently. Ladies and gentlemen, that's racism. Racism is power, wealth, and control of all resources. And racism is a team sport. Please get that through your head. Stop calling it racism. The wordplay that is used in the media today is what keeps you from getting justice too. It's not racism. Racism, we know what racism is: money, power, control, wealth, to control the outcome of lives of people who don't have that money and power. And that's Europeans, it's white people. Only white people can be racist. Black people can be prejudiced. Oh yeah, I can hate the shit out of you. But you can be prejudiced against mustard. That's a human emotion. People hate me. That's prejudice. Cops pull me over because I'm a black guy in a nice car. That's prejudice, not racism. Racism is what allows them to be prejudiced. Racism is what allows cops to shoot unarmed black men and women and boys, children, and get away with it. Prejudice is why they do it. The act of it is bigotry. You have to learn these topics. And while we're on the topic of cops shooting unarmed people, innocent black people, the reason why cops rarely go to court, get tried, and even rarer get sentenced is because you're using the wrong terminology. There's no such thing as police brutality. Let me say that one more time for the people in the back. There is no such thing as police brutality. Look it up. Go ahead with your little rule books. Lawyers, how many lawyers we got out there? Black lawyers, let me hear you. Do you see anything in your little book that says police brutality? You know why you lose in court? Because you're trying them for something that doesn't exist. And if it doesn't exist, then it's easy to get off. What you need to try these police officers for is domestic terrorism. Because that's what it is. It's here at home, in the States, and it's fear-mongering and killing people based on the color of their skin. And because America is a racist system, has a racist system at its core, police bigotry and police prejudice allows them to get away with domestic terrorism. That's why I tell you, there's no such thing as police brutality. Get that shit out your head. Listen to what your brother here is trying to tell you. I'm just a friend and I love you. It makes it hard as a black nerd to balance, because I care so much about black people. I love, my mom's black, my dad was black. I'm black as all get out. I'm black as midnight. So I care when I get, my feelings get caught up sometimes when I see black people using the wrong terminology, or and this is why I get angry, when they go too far. This is an example of not caring at all, right? Not going far enough. Well, you know, maybe if he did what the police officer said, then, you know, he would be alive today. I've heard black people say that. That's ignorance. That's borderline stupid. Gets me upset. Makes my balls itch. Makes me not be able to focus on my video games. I think about this shit when I'm, you know, on my little Destiny 2 or, you know, whatever the hell's out there that I'm, you know, anything with sports games. I don't play sports games. I'll get into that a little later. Because then it goes right back to my head and makes me think about what's going on in the world. Why things are unfair. Why our healthcare system sucks so bad that it puts me and my wife in a sucky situation, even though we got decent insurance. That's racism. It's time to learn what these terms are and call it what it is. And that is a weak person. That's one person that's too far on one side. I like to smoke my Black and Miles when I talk to y'all. It helps me calm down. I get a little angry. And then here's an example of those who will go too damn far. Fuck all white people. Let's kill them all. You have those individuals that are just like, fuck all of that shit. If we just kill them all, if we just do this, if we do this. The problem is with those who are hyper militant is that they don't think about the money. Here we are behind enemy lines, which is technically what black people are, behind enemy lines. We're not going back home, and we damn sure ain't going on our own accord. And they're making it more difficult to get dual citizenship in Africa. Okay. Here we are behind enemy lines, and you want to be militant? You want to create your own army? Guess what? You got to feed them motherfuckers. Food costs money. You need land for food. You need to learn how to hunt. You need to know how to kill your own animal if you need to. You need to learn how to grow your own food. And you need money for all of that. So if you ain't got no money, shut the fuck up about killing every goddamn body. Start a war. Don't try to start a war in your 40s because you missed out in your 20s because you were too chicken shit. You didn't get it. You were too dumb. That's why I'm right there in the middle. I didn't say kill all of them. There's some good ones out there. There's some great white friends. They understand my points of view. They don't get offended when I start talking about them and their culture as a whole. Because they know what I'm speaking is coming from a place of personal experience. So, you want to make change, you got to be quiet. Quit being so loud about everything, black people. Listen. We're all on social media shouting out about what businesses we own with this, that, and the third. No. Just say we're going to make it. We're going to do a meeting for this, that, and the third. Go to said meeting. Make sure the doors are closed and locked so that, the enemy can't get in. And then plan. The best ideas and plans that go off without a hitch only happen behind locked doors and smoky rooms. Because they had plenty of meetings on Jekyll Island, right? That caused the whole change of taxes. That caused the creation of federal income tax. That caused the World Bank. That caused interest. Every year they have a meeting. The most powerful people on the planet. And us everyday people don't know where the fuck it is every time. I'm going to tell you like this. I'm not an Alex Jones fan. He's weird. He goes there. I go down the rabbit hole with Alex, and then we get to the bottom floor, and then he pulls out a jackhammer to go deeper when there's nothing else there. That's where I get off the Alex Jones train. Because he's not wrong to an extent. And he knows every year where the fuck that meeting's finna be. He finds out. He does it. He does his due diligence, and damn sure he gets a snapshot or a picture or the place be guarded, ridiculously guarded. Yeah, all them people pulling in. And next thing you know, you see videos of black trucks, black limos, black everything pulling into that. So they have that one meeting every year. And these meetings include people from the media. So you're talking about people that control TV, people that control the banks, people that control the prisons. Oh yeah, the prisons be in there. The reason why the prison system in America is so deep is because of the 13th Amendment. Voluntary servitude is only legal. Involuntary servitude is only legal when you commit a felony, a crime where you got to go to jail or prison for a long time, because that's where we get all our firefighters from that are putting out the fires in California right now. You have a lot of firefighters, people who have been trained to put out fires, and they're getting paid $2 a day. $2 a day. They're prison inmates. And you have people who are upset that they're complaining about the way they're treated. Y'all forget, these motherfuckers may go to jail for doing stupid shit. But they're humans too. And that's all I got to say about that then. On a lighter note, I'm super stoked. Okay. Some positive stuff has been happening in my life, so I'm very, very excited. I can't tell you everything because I gotta follow my own set of rules where you don't tell everything. But I can give y'all some hints. I am getting back in the film business. I'm loving every step of this. That's gonna happen. I can't wait. Ownership is the key, ladies and gentlemen. And so when you own shit, you don't have to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning like I got to tomorrow and go to work for somebody else. My boss, the doctor, he's nice in a sense, but I seen him get real evil on people real fast. He got a Trump sticker on the back of his new coupe, some coupe that I can't even pronounce the words to. I'd rather be home playing video games. So I'm really excited about the film business, the things that I'm going to be doing with, producing our own craft, our own art, and mass distributing it, being able to call it mine, and learning from the best like Dame Dash on how to do this shit. I'm working on trying to become a voice actor because I love video games. I love them. I love playing Destiny 2. I can't wait for Anthem to come out. Like, I've seen the previews for that. Quick side note. Let's make sure we understand this. There is no way in hell. Let me clear my throat so you can understand what I'm saying. Let me get real close to the mic. There is no way in hell Xbox is better than PlayStation. And y'all can come for me for that. Man, nobody want to play that bulky ass controller and y'all whack ass games, and then you got the nerve to try to charge people to play certain. Get out of here, man. I paid $50 a year for my online play. Sorry about that. For everybody interested, my gamer tag is Mr. Agent P. Yes, we're talking about Agent P, Perry the Platypus from, what was that? Phineas and Ferb. Yes, Mr. Agent P. So if y'all trying to see me, I don't play sports games. Let me tell you why. Because after a certain point, it gets boring to me. I can't see how I can spend 4 12-minute quarters, 15-minute quarter, whatever the hell they play, trying to play a basketball game that I can't physically get out there and play myself. I just can't do it. I can't, because it's the same shit over and over. And people will be paying $100. I like LeBron James, but the system itself, that way he plays in it, I feel like it's rigged. Same thing with football. Madden, I'm the same way. Anything Madden, soccer, and baseball, I don't mind too much. I haven't played baseball games in a long, long time, but I'll just do my shoot 'em ups, my RPGs, and then I flip over and play my own video games. Watch anime. Real quick, let me go ahead and get this out of the way so they don't say I don't do my job. This episode of the Panther Spot Podcast is brought to you by Fromos Apparel. It's fromosapparel.com. I'll put the links to the description and in the description down below. Fromos Apparel, anything that you want, from pillows, t-shirts, blankets, towels, funny shirts. I've ordered some from this place and I love it. It's great. I might even get them on and start making some of my shirts and some of my own catchphrases and stuff like that. That'll be great. And if y'all like some of that stuff, y'all let me know and see if y'all like any of the merch, and then maybe I can add some merchandise to my catalog here, to my repertoire. Okay. Also, brought to you by Champ Boxes. So let me put this out here real quick. I've never spent money on premium boxers until last week or week before last. I need some underwear. I go to the Walmart or some cheap store, get you some Hanes with the strings still on. Cause you know Hanes don't give a fuck about their drawers no more. But I went and said, okay, I want some premium underwear, some that feel great. That's not gonna ride up and make me feel like I'm wearing Daisy Dukes when I wake up in the morning. You know. And so I was looking at the PSDs of the world. And PSDs got some premium boxers, and they got boxers that have, the print is off things that you see every day, like the little hospital cups, the design off that, the, dollar signs, all kinds of things in pop culture. They print them on the underwear. And from what I understand, and as I'm seeing so many people on social media, like at Fat Boy SSE and I can't even think of the other boy's name. It just wasn't for me. I wanted to find something where I can put my money where my mouth is. And if anybody knows, my mantra is think, act, buy black. It's always think, act, buy black. If I could buy black first, I will do it. If I have access to toilet paper, toothbrushes, toothpaste, underwear, anything, I'm going to try to buy black first if I can afford it and if I like the material. And I went with Champ Boxers, and you will be able to see their information down in the description as well, champboxers.com, or you can find them on Instagram at the Champ Boxers. This is free promo, guys. I just said I was going to do it, and I'm a man of my word. Eventually, we'll work into some funding for doing these promos, but they're smooth, they're long-legged, they go down to the knees, they fit up 3X like us big boys. It don't roll and hurt the underside for us big boys who got the belly, the hangover. You know how your underwear in the front roll over? Yeah, none of that there. Unless you got the hangage down to your balls, but I can't help you with that, big boy. So if you want to get down and then have a good product and buy black like many in the nation have already, go ahead to champboxers.com, or you can click the link down below. All right. There's so much stuff in the news that it's just like, should I really touch this stuff? Let's run through some of the quick stuff real quick. Some of the petty stuff. All right. Ariana Grande showed up to Aretha Franklin's funeral. First and foremost, why is the funeral 6 hours long? I get it, Aretha. Aretha was great. I love Aretha Franklin. That sister can sing, and if you ask me, she was like the original diva. Okay. However, a 6 hour freaking, man, I'll be knocked out asleep. But you know who wasn't distracted? Okay, I saw people up on the pulpit, on the top, checking their cell phones, passing out. You know who sat up strong the whole 6 hours, wasn't distracted, listened and enjoyed every performance, everything? Farrakhan. Minister for Lewis, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. I mean, showed mad respect throughout the whole thing. So shout out to Nation of Islam for having just an awesome, awesome leader there. But Ariana Grande showed up to a funeral with a dress that showed half her thighs. Nah, women, y'all can wear whatever the hell y'all want. But there's a time and a place for everything. And what she had on was not appropriate for Aretha Franklin's funeral. I don't care how good she sang that song. But the problem isn't, they're not really jumping on Ariana for what she was wearing. They're jumping on the pastor who was 2 feet taller than her. Okay. And when he went to talk to her, on a microphone, he had his hand around what would normally be a woman's waist. And older folks, they do stuff like that. There's no ill will behind that. It's just, a kind of just an old respect thing. Like, hey, Ariana, I'm glad you're here. Your friends, da-da-da-da-da. But the internet blew the fuck up. Trying to call the man a pervert. This man had to apologize because he thought, at first he apologized. He thought, because what he thought he said was disrespectful. Later on, he finds out that people are mad because he put his hands what he thought was her waist was up more across her boobs. And man, did they zoom up on that. That man wasn't trying to mess with that little girl. Y'all need to get the fuck out. If anybody you had to watch out for, it was Bill Clinton. He was sitting there like he was ready to risk it all. I mean, that nigga tongue was out of his mouth and everything. They had pictures of all the old men back there, black men with their eyes open, all shocked, kind of looking like they thirsty. No, they was confused, confuzzled as to why this heifer showed up in this little ass skirt. I mean, the heifer hair, her real hair was longer than her whole dress. Y'all get off that pastor, man. That's some bullshit. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Y'all always looking for some fuck shit. Me too. What y'all need to worry about is that McGowan chick. Give me a second. Let me pull this up. I think her name is Kate McGowan. I might be wrong. Might be wrong. Let me see. I don't know. I can't think of the girl's name, but this girl. There's this girl. Okay, and let me see if I can bring it up here real quick. Rose McGowan? Might have been Rose. Yes, Rose McGowan. There you go. Rose McGowan is friends with Asia Argento. And Asia Argento was like the face of the Me Too movement, even though it was a black woman who should have been on the cover of Time magazine. She created Me Too, but they put her like in the middle of the page, somewhere middle of the magazine somewhere, and they put a whole bunch of white faces on the front because white people sell better on Time magazine, first and foremost. And the woman who started the movement didn't get the love that she was supposed to get. I'm trying to find the lady who created it. Give me a second here. Let me give her some credit here. Tarana Burke. That's right. That's her name. Tarana Burke. Tarana Burke. We find out that Asia Argento, who was one of the ones who was supposedly raped, and she was, raped, sexually assaulted by Harvey Weinstein. You know, the Jewish guy who owned who's like creator and part owner of Weinstein Pictures and all this stuff. We've seen plenty of movies like that, right? And they painted this man really bad because he was really bad. But she left out the fact that she raped some little 17-year-old boy too. They got the text messages and everything. I'm so serious. I mean, she went on a rant about this guy, but then turn around and she get caught messing around. Now the boy is older. He's way older now. But the boy comes out and says, how you going to be damn near the face of the Me Too movement when you raped me, bitch? 17 years old. That's statutory rape. Rose McGowan, who's always been pretty outspoken about this stuff, instead of jumping all down her throat like she's done every man who's been outed with sexual assault, she says maybe we should wait for a moment to get all the facts. But she didn't say that shit about Bill Cosby. And I'm gonna stand here and say this, and y'all can come for me. And I want y'all to know from the bottom of my heart, I don't give a fuck what you think about this comment. Ain't no way in hell Bill Cosby raped all them goddamn women. Those women were paid by Fox or NBC or something. Because this was the second time Bill Cosby tried to buy NBC. And he was actually almost successful the second time around. But he had a clause in the contract that if anything happened out in the public, that they can, break anything that's distasteful, they could break the contract. The first time he tried to buy NBC, they killed his son. No one talks about that shit. Because you got all these butterface ass white bitches, which, the saying in the black hood is, I don't be going around fucking with the white girls. And now come out of the woodworks talking about Bill Cosby raped them. I don't believe it for a moment. You telling me that during, what was this, World War II, Vietnam? Some war was going on during all this time. All right. And you mean to tell me some black man who's probably one of the most powerful black men at the time was just walking around raping white women and nobody came for him? I call bullshit when I see it. You don't wait 30, 40 years to come out and say, I don't care. Oh, well, I felt that, I didn't have it in my heart. I didn't think anybody would. No, fuck that. You were there during the time where racism, prejudice and bigotry was at one of its highest without cameras. You could have snitched then, and anybody, you could have said, look, right now a white girl can say, hey, Scott raped me. Excuse me. I'll be up in the trial. I have to defend my life. You could have did that shit back when Cosby was powerful and young and still blemished his whole shit. But you didn't. You wait 30 some odd years, 40 years to come forward. Fuck that shit. I don't believe it. Now, did he have some quaaludes? And did his wife know about him fucking some bitches? Probably. But that shit was consensual. That shit wasn't, now you feel bad about it. Now I hate that shit because there's no, you can't sue any of these. These women aren't going to get in trouble. Only now are we seeing women getting in trouble for, blaming, like this one white girl blamed like 5 football players for raping her. It turned out she finally getting some time in jail, but she gonna be out in time to create a whole new life. But if them black boys would have went to jail, they would have had 5 times that amount of time that they gave her. I don't know what they gave her, like 10 years, 15 years. You got brothers coming out of jail now because of the non-profit organizations that go in to help black people who really didn't do shit. Get them out of jail, and we find out the evidence was faulty, or they didn't have enough evidence, or the judge at the time was just racist, or used racist practices to reinforce his prejudice and his bigotry, and put these boys in jail. And when they get out and they get this little bit of money, it don't be a whole lot of money. I think the largest payoff I saw was like $1 million. And the smallest I saw was like $15. Like they gave this man like $1,500 or some shit. Or $15, some shit like that. After he spent 10 plus years in jail. Ladies and gentlemen, that's racism. When you can control the outcome of someone else's life based on the power, money, resources that you have. Little white boy, Scott something or whatever his name is, the racist, the prejudiced, nasty rapist, swimmer that raped the little white girl behind a dumpster. He should have had tons of years in his life, but you know what? He's got money. His parents had money and influenced the judge. The judge said he didn't want to ruin the kid's life for his whole life and gave that nigga 6 months, and he got out in 3. They sentenced that motherfucker in June. That nigga was out in September, before my birthday last year. Now he can go off and make his own life, because he probably can just work for daddy and don't have to worry about the shit ever again, because mom and daddy got money. We live in a world where poverty and color dictates whether or not you survive our broken justice system and a broken health system. And my wife is the proof of the broken health system. And I wonder, to this day, I'm working to see if there's anything legally I can do, because she deserves everything. Black women, I love you. I do. But y'all got to do better. And you can't get mad when you see a brother trying to help you because you feel like you fucked up. Was it a week ago, 2-3 weeks ago, black woman leaves a Chinese owned beauty salon store, which I keep telling y'all, there's plenty of black owned beauty supply stores. Yes, they're not as cheap as the Asian ones. You know why? Because the Asian ones, they corner the market. You try to get in and get the same prices for weave and all that other stuff. Well, guess who's selling it to them? Other Asian folks. Other Indian folks, like from India, who don't like black people for some strange ass reason, and I know that through experience. I used to date a little Indian girl, and I remember at one pool party, our mutual friend dunked my head under the pool while her parents came in around the back to drop her off. And I'm just scared as all shit. I'm a young man. I ain't know no better. Okay, I dated the rainbow. I'm not gonna lie, I dated everything. I don't care about your choice in love. You can love who the fuck you want, but don't make that person feel powerful because you sit there and diss women of your own color. Men, I'm talking to you. I'm so sick of y'all bullshit ass motherfuckers who do that shit. Quit dating outside your race because you're too chicken shit or you can't be patient enough to find a woman that cares about you. There's plenty of there's plenty of blurred black women out there. Plenty. Now, I didn't learn this until I was much older because I felt alone. But now we got social media and they're all over the goddamn place. There's plenty out there. And if that's just not your preference, it's fine because everybody's allowed a preference. But don't sit up here and make that white girl or that Hispanic girl, that Indian girl, whatever girl, that Japanese, Chinese girl feel good about themselves while you dissing other black women. Like, oh, black women too this, they too that, I can't deal with them, so that's why I date a white girl. No, we dated white girls because it was easy. I'm putting it out there. White girls was easy back in the day. Why? Because it was taboo to fuck with a black guy. They heard all the big dick rumors and they wanted to see if it was true. And that was an easy end. Especially if it was really true about you. I ain't had to do shit but say, hey, you look real pretty. Let's go on a date. And I'm not downing white girls. I'm not. Because now, the only reason why I say that now is because now white girls act as if they're better. That they assume that black men, are just guaranteed going to go talk to them. I've seen it too much, especially if they live in the hood. White girls that live in the hood. I don't tolerate the white girls that say, nigga, you got to get away from me. I'll send my girl cousins on you, and black girl love to fight. These are just experiences, but I digress. Little Asian store. Black woman goes into the Asian store to get some stuff. Her son picked up a keychain and put it in his hand or his pocket, and they walked out. And the Asian dude saw it or whatever and gave the black woman all kinds of hell. I'm assuming she apologized and tried to give it back. But the Asian man, but she ain't going to just let you talk shit to her. You ain't going to disrespect no sister like that. It just don't happen. That Asian dude punched that woman in the face? Oh, yeah, we was about to shut that shit down. It was all over media, all over social media, all over the news. I mean, plenty of black men and black women were outside shutting that shit down. That nigga ain't had no business for days. You know what he did? They got real smart. We're going to get the ratchet people who don't give a fuck about other black people. They just care about themselves. And what he did was said 50% off everything in the store. He still got a court date coming up, but they said 50% off everything in the store. And don't you know, you black women went right back to the goddamn store. And not only did he didn't let y'all just come in all at once. No, he had y'all asses outside waiting in this long ass line and said 1 or 2 in at a time. All because y'all want some motherfucking weave. And there's plenty of black women out there selling weed packs. You better spend that extra money. Fuck that Asian dude. Fuck them Asian stores. Y'all should know better. You should be ashamed of your goddamn selves. Meanwhile, there was more people in that line out there than there were protesters days later or even a week later. And there was some men out there. And this one sister went off on all the men. Because the men said, hey, we're here for you, sister. We trying to protect and defend you. Meanwhile, you on social media talking about niggas ain't shit. But they out there concerned about you. Why are you shopping someplace you're not wanted? Government got y'all brainwashed. Send y'all brothers and fathers off to war. They die there. They get sick because of all the chicken and all the pork and all the garbage that we put in our bodies. We live in areas where there are food deserts. You don't get any fresh fruits or anything. The men die from stress and all the other shit. And then they come back if they go to jail for trying to provide, by selling drugs, which they didn't create. We all know this. Oliver North and the government and Ronald Reagan, they dropped them drugs and guns in actual cases and dropped them off in the hood. California, New York, Miami. And since black men have a hard time getting a job at the time, guess what they did? They slung rocks. And then they went to jail and got a felony. And then when they tried to clean up, guess what happened? They said, hey, women, we'll take care of you. Daddy government got you. Here's some WIC. Here's government assistance. Here's a 4-bedroom apartment, and you only got to pay $25 because you got this voucher. Here's the catch, though. It only lasts for 2.5 years, so you got to get your shit together. Or 2, 3, 4 years, however long. But you got to get your shit together. Oh, don't worry about it. You get, $1,000 in food stamps. No problem. But you can't have that black man in the house. I don't care who disagrees with me. Not having a father in your household changes you. It's different. You may come out just fine. I know a couple brothers that are just fine. They're perfect. I look at it as a watch. Your mother can raise a boy, no problem. Turn him into a man, everything. But there's components that are missing. And they get mad when you call them out on that shit. But I'm just fine. My mama did it. Yeah, you're right, maybe. You're just fine, brother. But you're a little feminine. You're a little emotional. You can't, somebody bump into you ready to fight. I'm like, yo, my bad, homie. No, fuck that. Let's do this. You get too angry. You get too emotional. You act like your mama. And I'm saying, like I said, not all of them, but a big majority. That changes you. That you don't get the same things. Women create beautiful watches. Men are just a cog that turns it into a timepiece. And you don't see any other culture that sits up here and talks bad about their men. Oh, white women have the feminist movement. Oh, they hate white men. But you see what they did when they came together. They came together with their white counterparts and voted for Donald Trump. And left you high and dry. I don't know. Maybe I care too much. But that'll be it for tonight. I tell y'all, I love all of y'all, I really do. But I want us to have change. And the only way to change is through economics. It's through money. Create businesses. Patronize those black businesses. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. I've never seen a Chinese food commercial. Have you ever seen that? I've never seen Chinese or Asian people go to black-owned stores. Okay. I don't see that shit. We spend every dollar in the suburbs or with Chinese people that don't give a, that talk to you through glass. Don't put the money in your hand. They put it on the table, or they slide it through the thing, so you got to pick it up. You're patronizing the same people that hate you. Black men, black women, we got to do better. Okay. And you got questions about trying to create a business for yourself, a side hustle. That's what we do as black people. We hustle. So sisters, while y'all on that voucher, okay, you can create a side business and not have to report it. We can teach you how to do that shit. And then when it blows up, you ain't gonna need daddy government. Some of them keep, I know this is, I'm gonna let y'all go. This is a sister I used to work with. And beautiful. She is absolutely gorgeous. Tall, light skin, brown eyes. She became a manager overnight. And I'm gonna say it wasn't because of her work ethic. Let's be real. Okay. She used her wiles, and I ain't mad at it. Handle your business, boo-boo. She told me, now I'm dating a guy who's a doctor. And he was talking about marriage and that he doesn't, he loves my son. He doesn't need to, he tells me I don't need to live on the government no more. But she's so brainwashed, she says, I can't do it. I don't want to give up all the benefits the government's giving me. He's a fucking doctor. He could afford more than what you got. But there's a fear. She doesn't trust black men. She's been through her hell, and I get that. But then what you can do is date that doctor. Tell that man, you want to take care of me? Help me open up a business. I don't want to work for somebody else ever again. I felt so bad when she said that. She looked me dead in the eyes. She was so serious. She's been traumatized by shitty men. Because there's a bunch of shitty ones that like us out there, but they're in every group. But we're the only ones that really hate each other. And we've been taught that. And it's all done with money. Cream. Thanks for kicking it with me tonight. Y'all been wonderful. I am Philosophy Panther. And y'all know how I do it. And I love you. I gotta say it every time. Black people, if you can't do this every day, do it at least once a week. If you can't do it once a week, try to do it at least once a month. Hell, do it as often as you freaking can. Always think, act, buy black. I love you guys. Got any questions, concerns, comments, any of that stuff? Leave it in the comment below. You can DM me. You can find me at Philo_Panther on Twitter, Philosophy_Panther on Instagram. And if you like any of the crap that I said tonight, you think it's worth your time, why don't you join Panther Nation? Hit me up on patreon.com/the Panther Spot and join. Become part of the Panther Nation. It's just the basic level of behind the scenes stuff and gear, merch, any of that stuff you get just for joining. It's only $1 a month. I'm sure you can find 4 quarters and donate once a month to help keep this podcast going and to bring in a few extra people and make this a full podcast. The dream is to get this with 3 people. We meet up every week and we tear it up. We get the best show. I want to bring comedy into this. I want to bring a woman in here who is down the middle just like me and have different points of views. I definitely need a sister in here doing that for me. So y'all get a chance, hit up my Patreon, and I'll talk to you guys later. Y'all have a good night.